What is going on, everybody? Grady here for another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at this. This is the Glycine Combat Sub, and we're just here to answer one simple question. Is this one of the most underrated Swiss-made dive watches in the industry? Let's take a look. All right, so let's take a look. First things first, I want to go over are some specifications. Looking at here, case diameter of 42 millimeters, a very impressive case thickness of 10.5 millimeters, a lug width of 22 millimeters, and a lug-to-lug length of 50 millimeters. The glass here is sapphire, flat sapphire with a handsome amount of AR coating that you can see here. Looking at the bracelet, we have is a solid link and solid end link with female end links to aid in that comfort, all the way down to a pressed clasp here, although it has a milled section down in the middle. So flipping it back over, we have here is a signed screw-down crown with so aids in that 200 meters of water resistance. Powering this watch is a Sellita SW200, which is a proper workhorse movement of a piece here. Taking a closer look at the dial. So although this is a pretty familiar face to a lot of you, I think it's done exceptionally well. You have a aluminum insert here, the handsome applied indices, as you can see, reflecting off that gold gilt tone, which I think just looks very, very nice. You have the sort of Mercedes Delete hour hand and just a nice rectangular seconds hand. Very simple, very, we could say Submariner-esque in its design, but it serves a purpose and is done exceptionally well, especially given the price point. And that was really another thing that I wanted to make sure I talked about quickly was the price. So I paid $300 for this watch, which once again, for a Swiss-made dive watch, I think is a phenomenal value. And this is something with history. This brand was founded back in 1914, originally having watches such as the Airman, which is a very, very cool watch. Highly recommend you checking that out if you're not familiar. But this was introduced back in 1967 and has really stayed unchanged ever since. As it stands right now, the Glycine brand is owned by the Invicta Group, which, for a lot of folks, I think is totally fine. Some folks might feel like it's a little sacrilege to the watch world, but I think that this watch has remained a staple piece in Glycine's lineup and looks very, very good and continues to really impress me. Considering this is something that is to that price point, although there are a few things I would want to have changed, such as the clasp here. Although the milled section in the middle is totally reasonable, I would love to see something here where this section is milled, maybe some micro adjust. I think would just be very, very nice. I know a lot of the brands at this price aren't really doing that, but it just opportunities. I do love that signed Glycine logo right there. And the only other thing that I really was looking at that kind of caught me off guard, or something I'd want to see some improvement on, is, I know this is kind of subjective, is the finishing. So this particular model comes in a fully brushed all the way around case, bracelet. Although very utilitarian, I think could add a little bit of visual interest if you did some sort of maybe chamfered edge right here, something to kind of break it up. I know they have ones that are polished on the side and brushed, but even then it's just very simple. And I think that they could get away with doing a little bit more case design to make this really look and feel like a premium watch. So actually taking a quick look at it on my wrist, I have a 7.5-inch wrist. So just to kind of get you an idea of the sizing, you'll see here, very, very comfortable. Look how thin that case is right there. You see these lugs turn down so well that it just hides that size of that 42 millimeters. I think it just fits me so comfortably. Although the bracelet is pretty wide, it does kind of help spread out that weight, so it feels very comfortable. Easily something you can throw under the shirt cuff, easily something that you could get away with even if you have a smaller wrist. But that's sort of a quick overview on the Glycine Combat. So why don't we hop back to the desk and talk about it? All right, so that is a quick overview of the Glycine Combat Sub. And to really summarize and answer my question of this is something that you should be considering, and is this one of the most underrated dive watches that Switzerland has ever produced? I'd have to say yes, personally. I understand I'm going to be a little bit biased because I currently own one, but you got to really look at it in terms of what it's offering altogether. Some great specifications, right? You got Sapphire, you got the SW200, a lot of solid, solid links, solid end links, and some history. What kind of watches are you going to find at this price point? They're going to be around 300 bucks. I think that's just so cool to have something like this. And the fact that you can just hop online and buy one. There's no wait list, there's no wait time. Sure, it's not some crazy luxury brand, but I think for what it offers for the price, you could absolutely have this in your collection, and it's hard to ignore. So I hope each and every one of you have a great rest of your day. And hey, I hope that you guys like my new setup here with the new lights, microphone, and the new studio light. Please let me know if that's something that you guys noticed or appreciate, if any comments, questions regarding that quality. So once again, hope each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and stay awesome.